Okay, this is the end of his video, What Bible Stories Mean. He's obviously older here, but a woman who happens to be his wife is about to ask a question, and he's going to answer it from the Christian point of view and straight up for those, name it, claim it, law of attraction, put out the good vibes, and you'll only have good shit end up in your life. I mean, that shit's nothing but manipulation, like I think it was Robbins and some others that made millions, basically telling people how to fake like you're somebody else to manipulate people, how to sucker women, all that. Anyway, this is pretty good. Listen to this.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I have one.
You have. I already had one. You can't have two questions.
You were supposed to cover this some time ago. Like when somebody feels that they're doing everything right and they fall upon tough times, and then they wonder, like, okay, falling back maybe to their born-again Christian days, like, what am I doing wrong now that this is occurring to me? And they put it into, like themselves, that there's something wrong with themselves.
Well, basically, that all comes from training. And
you gotta love that, how she says falling back, regressing to your Christian days. I won't interrupt no more.
It's let me show you the word, and religion thrives on this because it's necessary. This is the word. Guilt. And without that word, you don't need. These religious institutions can't survive without that. And this word is the most destructive thing in the world as far as people's minds are concerned. When an individual has been set upon by bad times, if you sit down and go through, there's a psychological test that I took once with a fellow who teaches at our job, and it's called the why question. And every question you ask why, and you'll always bring it back to a center, the origin of the things that hurt people. And you'll always find that initially something was implanted into you from someplace else. Someplace else. And then you look back to that person, and you don't want to put that person on a guilt, but you'll find something was implanted into them from someplace else. Bad things do not happen to people because you draw them. That's silly. It is just absolute silliness. People don't attract things to themselves like that. This is look, if let's say you're perfectly pure, and you're wholesome, and you do everything right, and you have a Bible and the Word of God, and you go to church, and all of these things are wonderful. But you just happen to live on the shooting gallery at Fort Dix. Now, you're a wonderful person, and you're surrounding yourself with peace and tranquility. But every time you come out of your house, bullets are whizzing past your head. You're not shooting them. Other people are. But you better dodge them, and you better not stay out there too long, because they'll hurt you. See? You're not drawing anything. You're just an advanced, evolutionized person in the middle of an archaic, Neanderthalic, middle-age mess. You're healed? Fine. But you're surrounded by thousands, millions who are not. And you're going to get hurt by that. So what do? You have to stay within yourself as much as you can. You have to rid yourself of all feelings of guilt for any of this stuff and realize, first of all, you live in a society, you live in a system, you are put down with religions which are loaded with all of the horrors that anybody could think of, and they've all become part of your makeup and my makeup. We've lived through that. I've told you about my life, and I'm sure your lives are just as crazy as mine were as a child. I didn't ask for all that. I didn't want to, as a little child, see knives flying and people blood and banisters breaking and cops fighting with people in the living room and dragging people off. I didn't want to see that, but I did, and it had an impression on me. See? And all of this evil around me. And so now we get to a point where we realize, I still get these things when, you create, your beliefs create your own reality. Let me tell you something. I'll say this again. If you're going onto a picnic and you're driving your car and you believe you're going to have a wonderful day, and I'm claiming this day, and I'm claiming that I'm going to have a nice picnic and I'm going to enjoy the family. But there's a guy coming down the other street who believes he can make that red light. His belief is going to create a hell of a reality. reality for you that is not going to be nice. So your beliefs are not created. Your reality can be created by somebody else's beliefs. If this guy, you're going down the street, and there's a guy across the street thinks he can grab your pocketbook and get away with it, his beliefs are going to create a reality for you. So you are subjected to the chaos that goes on around us. And what is the answer to this? I guess what Loring and some of them be talking about. We are awaiting now the pineal, the single eye of God, the supernova to engulf the world. And at this point, we're a tremendous change in consciousnesses, a tremendous falling away from the systems and the groups of the world, and a tremendous elimination of all of this guilt. You're finding it, see, but you still got to live amongst those who haven't. And so then when bad things happen, you think, I'm drawing this to me. You're just surrounded by it. You know how Buddha put it, and I will conclude with this. Buddha said a lot of people get into meditation, and you start thinking about, why are these things happening? This is terrible. I'm doing all this meditation and things are worse. You know what Buddha said? No, things aren't worse. You've just regained your sense of smell. Before you were living in a cesspool and you never even realized it. Everything was normal. The crap was all over the place and you felt, that's the way it is. Now you're getting purged. And you're regaining your sense of smell, and all of a sudden you're finding all around you is a septic. And you're living right in the middle of it. And so Loring said, what is the goal? I guess maybe we could set this then as a goal. To first of all, free one another here from this lingering feelings of guilt and this feelings of being magnets for all this stuff. And just realize, if we could, that it wasn't us who created the environment that has all of the violence against the peoples, the subjugation of the downtrodden. Just look at yourself. Everybody's, I'm sorry going so, but everybody's got a nice, you all dress nice, you all look like you had something to eat. Just go a few miles on this earth into a place and you see these little kids in there living under cardboards and they're filthy and there's flies crawling up. What kind of evil is that? That's an evil. What did they draw on them? What did they do? What did a little pussy cat who gets, abused by, what did that cat do to draw this? Did the cat do something evil to draw this evil on it? Of course not. The children who are abused, the women who are degraded, what did they do to draw this onto them? Nothing. It is there. So you're not guilty. And that's the first thing you got to understand, is that the Jesus, the Christ, the Christian lives inside of you. Find that and you dwell in that, and you are on the eve. You have gone through the 9 planets. You are awaiting the pineal of God to consume the earth, and Samael knows each one of you by your name.
Well, I think you get the picture.